right, perfect. I'm just gonna start with it. Thank you for the introduction. Hello, India. As said, my name is Nino, and I'm a CPO at Apillon. And Apillon is a Web3 development platform that utilizes Polkadot parachains. So, what I want to talk about to you today is how you can build unstoppable apps by using your existing knowledge, whether from Web2 or whether from using the Web2 clouds simply by going to Apillon and immediately start building. Since I have only 10 minutes, I'm going to focus on the demo and show you a little bit of architecture of how we actually work and how we do stuff. And then we can look at how we integrated Crust and Moonbeam. First of all, what Apillon does is if we look at the Polkadot and we understand how parachains work on their protocol level, they do amazing jobs, right? So each parachain takes their own use case and really perfects the protocol level on that. And obviously it's built on Substrate, so it's a Web3 blockchain infrastructure behind it. But from business perspective, we can say, all right, so we have one parachain which is really good at handling, for example, identity or DIDs. Like for example, you had Dudley before, and we have other parachain which is great for deploying smart contracts. When you had the Hoon from Astor before, then you have a parachain which is perfect for storing files in a Web3 way, which is Crust and IPFS in the background. So we saw a pattern in this. We saw an opportunity to say, all right, so if we build a platform which connects to all these parachains, and we build an API, which is abstraction of all the complicated stuff in the background, and we also build a payment module, so we handle all the payments for underlying parachains. We can call ourselves a development platform. Yeah, this is Apillon. This is the core concept, what we do. As more parachains come in, we're gonna integrate them as well. Here is our dashboard and the insight of the services we have currently available. Keep in mind the current version of Apillon. We started writing the first code in September. So now 8 months later, we have a closed beta with storage, hosting, and NFTs or smart contracts already available. And I'm gonna take you through that. Basically, anyone can join a closed beta now. This is the view you're going to see. You can create your own project, and then immediately you can start utilizing storage or hosting. So in this case, I'm pinpointing the hosting service, which essentially means you can take any of your websites currently that you have and drag and drop the website files into the system, or use our API if you want to connect it to your CI, GitHub, any sort of automation, and simply deploy it. In the final view, so we have, upload, preview, and production. You can connect your final domain. You get your IPNS and IPFS links for both, for all of your files. Your website becomes unstoppable. What happens here is as you interact with Apillon, either API or UI, doesn't matter, we go to Crust, we pin those files, we pay Crust tokens, and we make sure all your files are hosted from IPFS. So this is how your website becomes unstoppable. And you don't have to, read the Crust documents or SDKs. You don't have to integrate with them. You don't have to have a wallet where you store Crust tokens. You don't have to understand IPFS. It's just pushing the files and you're done. In the case of storage, you can simply come to Apillon, create a storage bucket, start storing the files immediately. The same story happens. We go over to Crust Buddies and we say, please store those files and do some replication on the IPFS. And yeah, and it works. Going forward, this is the newest thing we are deploying. So this is not from the production. It's going to be available in the next week. It's how to build an NFT collection on Apillon. And it's actually quite interesting. So an integration of a parachain, which is behind this, is actually Moonbeam. So, all of a sudden we're talking about Kilt for identity, Crust for storage and hosting, and now we are touching the smart contracts. And here I will try to pinpoint how we are actually thinking in semi-interoperable way without using XCM. So let's go over this demo, right? So you go to dApps, you start creating a new NFT collection, and we immediately ask you, do you have, where do you have your metadata? Is this bucket already created on the Apillon, or maybe you have, your metadata somewhere else? And in case you do not have the bucket ready or you do not have the metadata ready, we already serve you this service, right? This feature. So immediately within this flow, you create Web3 storage and you immediately start uploading files and metadata. So we create you a bucket is successfully created. And now from the metadata NFTs, like CSV files, now we're in a, how to say, smart contract creation part where you define the name and symbol and you select chain. So soon, besides Moonbeam, you will also be able to choose Astar here and choose, whether you want to deploy this smart contract or another smart contract. And you can immediately also say the smart contract, if it, has to write some file, it can immediately access the bucket on Apillon. So this is the interoperability I'm talking about, where one service also understands the other services we supported, and everything at the end happens on parachains. Um, right. So the next step is the behavior. We are pretty much everyone is familiar with how you deploy and configure ERC 721. You define the supply, whether it's revocable, soulbound, whether you want it to be dropped, etc. And then you start uploading the CSV file, you start uploading the images, and the smart contract is deployed, and you can start writing the code via the API for this specific collection so that users can, mint those NFTs. Once you write this website, whether it's, in React or any other client-side accessible tool, where do you go to host it? Well, you can come back to Apillon and host this website as well with your domain. So, we just made a full circle of how you can create your own sovereign, completely owned NFT collection hosted on parachains and still keep all the ownership. And Apillon acts as a gateway, which allows you, to simply build like you would in Web 2. So this is my pitch. We are here. Scan the QR code if you want to join the closed beta. Join us on any channels you might find, like Telegram, Discord, Twitter. Reach out to me personally if you want to build something, if you are interested in building something, or if you have a parachain that you think should be integrated next. And we're here to help. So thank you very much, India, and I hope next year I will be able to join. Cheers.